Hello, this is Peter with another video. Today I thought I'd have a little discussion about what I'm thinking of doing with my figs next year, or at least some of them. So this summer has been not very good for main crop figs especially, but even in general, most of my figs have not done that well. Now this one here is my Cadota fig, which did have a couple of main crops on it, which have subsequently dropped off. You can see it has got a new one starting to form here, which is not going to amount to anything. You can see there's also a number of small ones here which are also starting to grow, which also aren't going to amount to anything. And I imagine these might be too big to overwinter. If they were a little bit smaller, like perhaps this one here, that might have a potential fig for next year as a braber. But yeah, I think these ones are too big. And also with it currently in the greenhouse, it is going to continue to try and develop these, which will be a waste of time. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these figs out of the greenhouse now. There's no chance of getting any ripe figs off them. There is my goot door, which did have a fig on it up until this morning when I tried to have a look at it, and it fell off when I was touching it. I don't think it would have ripened anyway, because even though it did seem to be starting to swell a little bit the other day, when it came off there was no sap coming out of the where the fig was attached. So that tells me that there's probably very little to no sap flow going into this fig anyway. The damage on it here is actually due to the fact that it was rubbing against the house when it was outside on the patio. I had it right up against the house and it kept rubbing against the brick wall, so that's what that marking is. I'm just going to cut this open while we're here just to see what it's like on the inside. Probably not going to be able to do this one-handed, but give it a go. Okay, so you can see inside it now. Of course this one was quite a long way off. I guess it's definitely the most developed that I've had so far. The Cadotas were not as big as this, and they were drier than this. This one definitely had potential, especially at this side here. It looks like it might have developed a bit more, but yeah, obviously still nowhere near ripe. So yeah, I think my plans now are to move all of these figs that are still in the greenhouse out outside. The reason being is because in here it does keep them warm enough to keep growing, even though outside some of my other figs are starting to go dormant. There's no point letting these continue to grow in here at this time of year, as it's just going to be a wasted effort going into these figs here. So if I bring it outside, it's probably going to start going dormant, and there might be a chance that some of these figs that have started to show on the buds might actually overwinter and become brabers next year. Yeah, and the same on this goot door, this other branch here. There might be one or two that could become brabers next year, so I want it to go dormant. So there are a few varieties of figs that I grow which are meant to be predominantly main crop figs. This one is supposed to be a what's it called? Panache or Panache variety, which I believe is supposed to mostly need a lot of heat. So I think next year I will leave these, I will put these in the greenhouse earlier to get them an earlier start. I only put them in well into the summer, so it was kind of a bit late really. So yeah, these other figs here as well, there's no point leaving them in the greenhouse. I'm going to have to make space in the greenhouse anyway to overwinter the citrus. Although saying that, this greenhouse is not big enough anymore as my collection's grown, so I'm going to have to look into resolving that in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, the figs in here are going to get moved outside. I'll just quickly show you my brown turkey fig, just so we can discuss that a little bit. So yeah, I know there's quite a few weeds around it which need clearing, and I'm going to sort that out in the next couple of days. But yeah, this is my brown turkey fig, which I planted earlier in the summer. It didn't grow too much. In fact, it started to drop quite a few of its leaves, especially in August. But it did wake up again, and it started pushing out what I guess would have been Brabers a few weeks back. And this one down here started getting bigger. Obviously it's way too small, it's not going to be able to develop in time. It did start pushing out some new growth again, especially lower down as well. But yeah, my plan really now is to focus mostly on Braber production, especially for next year. But I also want to try and get some of the other varieties which can produce main crop into the greenhouse early next spring, to try and get them a bit of a head start. That's something I didn't do this year, which definitely going to try next year to see if I can get them to produce any figs. I do have a few Italian 258 figs which I rooted this year, and these are a variety which I think would need a full season in a greenhouse to produce figs, at least in my climate. They do need a lot warmer summer weather from what we typically get. So yeah, these would be a potential to try growing in the greenhouse either permanently or at least most of the time during the spring, summer and autumn months. In winter they could probably be outside. It's not going to be a problem. It doesn't get cold enough in my climate to damage figs here. But yeah, I believe they will do much better in the greenhouse anyway. So yeah, at least for this particular variety and some of my others, they'll definitely much prefer to be in the greenhouse year round if possible. I just need to sort out getting a larger greenhouse so I can make some space for them. I also have this variety here which I rooted this year, and this is a Desert King fig, or at least it's meant to be. Of course it's hard to tell until they actually produce fruit, but this one in particular is one I'm excited about because it's what's known as a San Pedro type, which means in our climate it's only going to produce Brabers, but it does typically produce quite a large Braber, and quite a lot of them. In a climate where you've got the fig wasp, it is possible to get main crop figs off this variety, but that's not going to happen here. So this one is predominantly grown in climates where we have mild winters but cool summers, to try and maximise those Braver figs. So this is a variety I'm definitely excited to try, and eventually I want to try this in the ground. I don't know if I will plant it in the ground next year. I'll probably keep it in a pot for another year perhaps. But yeah, this one is one I'm quite excited about. So my plan really from going on from now is to focus on Braber producing figs in ground predominantly. So that'll be, brown turkey, Desert King, and some others that I'm still looking into a little bit more. In the greenhouse I'm planning to keep some of the varieties which need longer, drier weather conditions to produce good fruits, and especially main crops. So the Panache, perhaps even the Ronde Bordeaux, which is a variety which can produce main crops quite quickly in a warm climate, but here it's going to be hit and miss whether it will be able to produce them outside. I think here there's a good chance Rendezvous d'Or will produce main crop in a greenhouse consistently. My Rendezvous d'Or is actually on the patio at the moment. To wake it up a little bit early, I'll probably bring it in maybe February or something like that. I've got plenty of other varieties, way too many to cover in this video. So yeah, next year when I do I'll do a video on how I'm going to be trying to get some main crop. I definitely did see better growth when I brought the figs into the greenhouse, but it was much too late in the year when I brought them in. If they were in most of the year, especially spring onwards, there's a very good chance I'll get a few figs. So yeah, that's my sort of plan at the moment. So yeah, I'll definitely do some more videos on my plans next year. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I do future videos, and I'll see you in the next one.